Hi, Anita.
Hello.
Please introduce yourself to people who don't know you.
My name is Anita Ashiru. I'm a creative genius that I call myself. And the reason I call myself a creative genius is that I cater to different creative needs in entertainment and the visual industry as a whole. So I offer services such as art direction, creative direction, production design, even brand strategy, brand identity, anything that has to do with, creating a visual or representing a brand into to the audience, basically. So, yeah.
And how will you describe your year? How has your year been so far, generally speaking?
My year has been quite interesting. That's actually quite an interesting question. I haven't actually thought about it to really capture the year in like a phrase.
Not a phrase. Okay. Trust me, you can do a paragraph.
Okay, great. So the year has been really good. I would say there were different things that happened in different quarters of the year. So in the first quarter, I came to a realization that I wasn't the best in the world. And when you feel like you're the best in your own country or in your own area, and I don't want to be a local champion. So that was one of my resolutions this year. I was like, I need to elevate myself. I need to upskill myself. As much as, yes, I'm really doing good jobs. My team is doing well. I felt that there was more to achieve. And that was my goal coming into this year. And I'm glad that I was able to really achieve that goal this year by going to London to actually study what I'm already doing here, to work with people that have more experience, that were willing to share all their resources, and for me to also build that network outside Nigeria to see how we can actually take African stories and African visuals globally, and how we can collaborate with, Afrobeat is going global, Nollywood is going global, but how is Africa represented in the media visually, and how am I able to collaborate with people outside the country to ensure that our narrative is being shared positively. And I was able to really achieve that to some extent this year. Now, coming into the end of the year, I'd say that I'm really proud of the fact that my team have now grown. I was able to train people, it's also a passion of mine to teach people. And I've been able to, bring up at least 5 new art directors in Nigeria that are also doing really great in their own capacities and on their own levels. And I think those are the 2 major things I'm really proud of this year.
So, writers are writers. Everybody knows what they do. Actors are actors. Everybody knows what they do. What does an art director do?
That's also another tricky question. Anyway, so I think I'll talk about production design and also talk about art direction. And I'll talk more on production design because art direction is very closely related to production design, because an art director helps the production designer achieve their dreams. So design is the person responsible for creating a visual world or visual environments that we set characters and stories in. So when you watch certain films that are set in, fictional universes, what makes it believable that this place actually exists somewhere is production design. So being able to tell stories through visual cues, no words, no dialogue. How do you create an environment that passes across a message? That's what production designers do. So that's what I do. And as an art director, I'm able to, help myself achieve my dream. So production design, I design literal word of design, where you sit down and you sketch out and you conceptualize and you think of the colors and you think of what nuances you want to introduce to really tell that story and really push that narrative. And an art director assists the production designer in executing. So almost like an artistic project manager, bringing the people that you need to work with. So if you need a special type of artist to work on a particular type of project, or you need a particular type of artisan to work on on a type of project, an art director is the one responsible for getting all these different people or getting everybody together and managing the entire process to execution for the purpose of achieving a visual objective. Yeah.
What are some projects you did in production design and art direction this year that meant a lot to you?
Can I talk about unreleased?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I worked as a production designer and art director for an upcoming music video, Funds by Davido, and it featured Chike and Odumodu, and I keep on saying that that's my biggest job this year. And the reason it was big is, when they say skill, and people are just shouting skill, 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 You're just
That was
hearing it
scale.
like sometimes scale can mean people. It can mean having hundreds of people on set, or it can mean 200 extras on set, or maybe you're traveling. Like it can mean, but this time our scale was really on production design. Like I remember seeing the treatment and I closed it. Like I opened the treatment and I went through. I scrolled for like 30 seconds. I'm like, you're not dealing with this today. I closed it and I had to revisit it because obviously it was a brief that had come to my table. And I was looking at each scene and I was just thinking about, wow, building, designing, building. And the entire project was based, even like when we went for Recce, everybody kept on looking at me like, oh, my show, like they were shaking their
falls
head.
on your shoulders.
Yeah, so aside the fact that the project demanded a lot of my own responsibilities, it was also something that I hadn't really done before on that level of every scene was created.
Wow.
And we did almost 8 different setups, and it was really big, And I was able to really, why this project was really special to me was, I mentioned earlier, I went to London Film School and I learned a lot of new skills. This project allowed me really practice on everything I had learned. And the director actually did that with the mindset, because I remember when I was in school, when I was leaving class one day, he called me, I hope you're learning, because as you're coming, just know that you have work. That kind of warning, I was like, oh my God.
So they knew you were going to be the one since then?
Yes, they knew I was going to be the one since then, and he was already telling me that, make sure you're learning this thing very well, because there's a job that you're coming to face. So make sure you pay attention in class. And I was able to come and actually utilize everything I had learned, and I made it a reality, and everybody was really amazed. We definitely encountered many problems. So I designed, so after reading the script, you start to think about, okay, it's a music video, and one thing I like about music videos is that it allows your imagination to run wild. It's not really restricted to what is really true to reality, which movies kind of tend to force you, and commercials, because it has to be really relatable. But music videos, you can just, anything goes, as far as you can think, as long as you can do it, you can actually execute. And I was able to really think outside the box, and I was, getting pieces of things that I had seen while I was in London, because while I was in London, I also visited museums to see the way some museums are just set up, inspired by other artists that I never even knew existed. So I was able to bring in a little piece of all of those things I experienced into this project, designing with that mindset. And also my team was also really inspired, because when I came back from London, I also tried as much as I could to kind of pass on the knowledge I had learned onto my team as well, just so that everybody kind of feels like, okay, you went to, we
They went
now
to the London Film School in Lagos.
In Lagos, exactly. And we all of us went, and everybody really put their heart into it. Like my team worked really, really hard on this. Wow. I think this project was almost a week long, and everybody brought their A game. So that's one of the projects that I say that I'm really, really proud of.
Amazing. Who has had the biggest impact on your career this year?
Let me think.
Is it a tough one?
It's a tough one, but I'd say ADEYEMI. Do you know ADEYEMI?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, ADEYEMI. And I'll say that because ADEYEMI, we worked together last year, and from the first day we met, he fell in love with me. He became my guy.
In what capacity did you guys work together?
We worked on a Google and YouTube project.
It was
YouTube, and what project was that? It's called The Buffet, and it's basically like a reviewing Nollywood movies on YouTube with Bimbo Ademoye and Kunle Remi, the first season. And that's my first time working with ADEYEMI. And when we worked together, me and him just became really good friends. I know there's friends and there are friends, people that look out for you. ADEYEMI looks out for me even when I'm confused. I'm like, why does this guy like me? So ADEYEMI was just he's always trying to push me. Sometimes he would just send me encouraging messages. And he's the one that even told me that, Anita, have you heard of Future Awards? I think you should try to get nominated for Future Awards and see what happens. And I was like, me? I was also having that imposter syndrome. Are you sure that I have what it takes? Because I've seen it's a very prestigious award. I'm like, do you think I have it? He was like, just try. I think you can go for it. And just by pushing me, I was able to not only get nominated, but I also won. And I think that kind of...
You won the category of creativity and innovation for the Future Awards this year. Congratulations.
Thank you. But I don't think I would have thought to see myself that way.
ADEYEMI was the first step to that.
ADEYEMI was the first step to that. Just that encouragement, and that's sometimes all we need as creatives. It's just that push from another friend that, hey, you can do this. Just go for it. That's And I really, really, really like appreciate just that push. So yeah, I'd say Adam.
Whose work inspired you the most? Or who inspired you the most generally this year?
Who inspired me the most? I think I have one person that has just always inspired me, and it's Anna Blika. She's the production designer for Black Panther. She's worked with Beyonce on most of Beyonce's projects. She inspires me because this woman, if you see her, she's very tiny. She's a tiny black woman, and she's creating worlds that people are still talking about today. It's like her work would, whenever, like years to come, whenever she's no more, whatever, her work will still like live because she created something that not only drew from our culture. She was not even African, right?
Yeah.
But something that Africans are proud to say, Wakanda is in Africa, even if it doesn't even exist.
Yeah.
She was able to build not only a tribe, a language. Everybody does this thing, Wakanda, because she created something that never existed and people believed somewhere in their minds. I'm sure there are kids today that think Wakanda is somewhere in the world, right? And her work continues to inspire me. I follow her. I read. I always join some of her webinars. Anytime she's talking, I try as much as possible to join in on her talks because I just want to know, like, how does a woman, like, she was an architect before. She never knew that she never knew anything about this world, but she was able to, see that, wow, there's something there's a change I can make in this space, and I want to start by, doing something grand, like taking on that kind of project. Like, who do you think you are? But she was able to do that, and I just see a lot of myself, or I see a lot of myself in her, and I feel like that's where I want to reach. So anytime I think about being lazy when I have a project, or, oh my God, this is looking too heavy, I think about her and I'm like, if she was able to pull off Black Panther.
Yeah, and she has one head.
She has one head.
Yeah.
It means that I should stop being lazy. Come on, sit up. So she really just inspires me, and she's always just inspired me since I discovered her early last year.
Great. What has 2024 taught you the most about yourself?
Okay. It has taught me to take more care of myself. This work that we're in and this industry that we're in, it's so easy for you to get lost in it because you're working every day, back to back. I remember, like, I've been doing this for 5 years now. For the first 4 years, I didn't have time for myself. Like, I was constantly working, constantly learning. I'd never had a moment to really stop and really think that, oh, are you doing this thing for yourself? Like, when are you going to take a break? So this year, I traveled more than I normally would travel. And my mom also kept on pushing me, like, you can afford it, travel. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, so I did all the things that I was planning that when I get there, I will do. And I kept on pushing it. So this year, I really traveled. I started doing things that I started investing more in my hobbies, like painting. I like painting. So in my house, like, I got some paint materials. I decided to renovate my house. I'm not a great painter. It's just something I do. I decided to renovate my house, just things that make me happy. So I started investing more in myself. And I think that has just made me pay more attention to myself and love myself more.
Yeah.
And be less critical of myself because I'm my biggest critic. So I started giving myself more breaks, like, relax, Jerry, it's not that serious.
Yeah.
And I think that just translates to my mood and my energy. Like, I now have more time to do stuff that before I'm like, I just don't have time to do it. Yeah. And it also helped me manage my time surprisingly. Like, I'm able to work, I'm able to travel, I'm still able to, like, have friends and actually do some social activities.
When you stepped on the stage this year to receive your Future Awards prize, how did you feel?
I was first confused because when I look at people in my category, in fact, when I saw the category list, I'm like, there's no way I'm winning this thing. Like, I was like, it's not because I doubted myself, it was because I know these people. I see their work. I be quick. Are you joking? So...
Shout out to I Be Quick.
Yeah, shout out to her. Like, I love her. Like, she's also really inspiring. So when I saw, I'm like, oh no, I love her. Like, even me, I'll vote for her. Because what she's able to do with poetry, is so different. So I was like, I'm happy to be here. It was one of those things, I'm happy to be here. Yeah. So I remember a friend of mine was asking me, do you have an acceptance speech? I said, speech? Like, what speech? It's not like I really, like, downplayed it, but I just was happy to be there. Like, I was like, I'm nominated. It's a win already. So I wasn't even trying to be greedy. So then I was called on stage. I remember I was like, hey, like, okay, what am I going to say? I didn't know what I was going to say until I got to that stage.
Yeah.
So I was just thinking, okay, collect the award, smile. I see this a lot on TV. And I remember like a few years ago, my mom and I were watching AMVCA, and my mom made a comment. She's like, next time it's going to be you on that stage. What I think of your speech? And she just made that as a passing comment. I said, Madam, relax, So obviously, like, it's just gratitude I was feeling. I was just like, wow, like, me?
Felt seen.
I felt seen, I did. Although that my category was like one of the last, so I was even thinking that they've even forgotten about us. When they called us and I was like, wait, I won this thing. And I was just feeling lots of gratitude and I was just really thankful. And I'm thankful because I honestly say this with all the humility in my heart that I won't really be here today without the support that I have from my friends and my family and my team. There's nothing I can do without these people.
Yeah.
Like, there's absolutely nothing. This work that we're doing is draining. It takes a lot of emotional and physical strength that the days that I'm feeling down, I need people to uplift me, right? And so I was just really thankful. That's really how I felt.
Wow, congrats again.
And again, you now came, as I was coming out, you now ran, Anita!
I knew you were
and
going
because
to
you were
win
telling
it.
me, like, you would tell me that you're, like, this is yours.
I was very confident you were
Yeah.
going to win it. And I predict things for a living.
I beg.
What's one thing you'll leave behind this year in 2024?
That's a very,
Philosophical
very
question.
what will I leave behind this year?
Habits, people.
I just need to be a better friend and daughter and sister. Shut up. I knew you would say something like that.
Oh, absolutely.
But I was better this year.
You were better
Yeah, I was
this
better
year.
this year because, as I said earlier, thank God I even mentioned it earlier, so I have precedence to this conversation.
Yeah.
The work is, like, engulfs you, especially production
Steals you
design. The
away from-
moment a brief is ready, you are, like, one of the first line of contact.
Yeah.
And a lot, it relies on your own, like, input, everything. Like, and then you're not only liaising with the client, you're liaising with your team. It's a lot, managing the whole project. But thankfully this year, I was able to structure my team in a way that it can function without me.
Yeah.
And it will function really, and they will execute it really, really well. So now I have more time. So next year, I hope to even do better at that so that I can have more time for friends, for family, like going home more, spending more time with friends. I said this year, I was able to do, when they say that group chats that you're always planning trips, this year we're able to actually go on one of those trips.
Yeah.
So next year, I plan on doing more of that, spending more time with friends, because this life is one that you have, right? And we're not getting any younger.
Yeah.
So all those things that you're saying, I'll do in my 20s. My 20s are already finishing, so I'm trying to just, be more available for people that I love and people that love me.
Awesome. Is there a specific project you're looking forward to next year?
Yes, my first feature film. So I'll be working on a feature film next year. And it's been a long time coming, and especially, I've always wanted to do film, but I've been so particular about the film that I work on. Not because I think I'm the best, though, but because I want to work on something really artistic. Like, I want to work on something that I can really express, like, art, like, if it's in colors, if it's in moods, if it's the way it looks, and to work with a team that understands that creative journey. So thankfully, a project that was very fitting has come to my table, so I'm looking forward to that.
I'm looking forward to it as well.
Yeah.
What's your favorite film this year?
My favorite film this year? I've watched a lot. Gosh. Does it have to be Nollywood?
Oh.
It doesn't have to be Nollywood. Can we say series?
Yeah.
Cross.
Cross.
It's
okay.
called The Cross. It's on Amazon Prime. I actually recently, maybe because I recently watched it,
Yeah,
so I'm still raving about
recency
it.
bias,
Yes, I'm still raving about it. I love it. I know it's based off a book. What it's about? Should I talk about what it's about?
Yeah.
Okay, it's about this guy who is a very intelligent detective. That his partner is his best friend. So him and his best friend are partners, are detectives. He's really, really brilliant, but he was unable to save his wife. She got killed. She got murdered, and he was unable to solve her death. So he's dealing with that, almost like a self-inflicted hurt of the fact that he's able to protect others, but he's not even able to protect his own. And then he's also trying to investigate a serial killer on the loose. So
I'm going to check it out.
you should check. It's so good. Like, I'm still raving about it till today. So yeah, I really like it.
Music? Favorite song?
Favorite song is Ishe Oluwa by Fireboy, or favorite artist this year is Fireboy. So this one might also be biased because I got to work on a project. It's not out yet with Fireboy, and I just loved him. his energy. Like, he's such a jovial person to be around. Like, you wouldn't feel, not like when artist walks into set and everybody's feeling very tense. You don't feel that way around him. Like, you want to party with him. Maybe you won't be tired. You know how, like, some shoots, you just want to go home. It didn't feel that way working with, and it was like, it wasn't a one-day shoot. He brought in so much energy, and he understands film, he understands his angles, he understands his craft, like his own craft, that
artistry.
He's able to perform the way you'd appreciate, like you'd be happy that you worked on a project.
Wow.
So since then, actually, I now started looking more into his music. I'm like, this guy is good. So I started listening more to his music, and I actually fell in love with Fireboy's music.
Awesome. Final question. What do you predict will happen to you next year?
What are
the predictions you have for yourself?
Predictions that I have for myself. One international project, like fully international. I want to be able to travel. I have done international projects, but it was mostly like Nigerian projects that took me outside the country. But I'd like to work with a fully international team outside the country on an international project. Yeah. And I think that will happen if I continue just to keep pushing. What else? I want to do more training. So I'm working on a collaboration with my alma mater, my university in Nairobi, to take my Art of Things workshop outside Nigeria.
Amazing.
And I'm not only looking at Nairobi, I'm also looking at how I can also take this to other countries within Africa to train new art directors. I love training people. I love teaching. I think that's really my passion. So I want to do more of that, and I know that that would happen as well. So those are the two things I can say for sure would happen next year.
I wish you all the best.
Thank you very much.
Next year.
And, thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me at Polygon.
This conversation. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Anita Ashiru. I'm a production designer and art director, and this is my yearbook.